What's in a name? Well, sage might describe the latest advice you gave your best friend, the paint color on your walls, or even a company name like Sage Sustainable Solutions Consulting, which just happens to be a company that is owned by a fellow dietitian with an interest in sustainability. And she just invited me to her podcast. So if your idea of a good time is listening to me ramble on and forget half the things that I wanted to say, check the description for a link to the podcast. In terms of wild sages in Saskatchewan, we have two, and they go by the common name of Pasture Sage and Prairie Sage. So if you hang around, you'll learn a bit more about sages, and at the very end, you'll get a delicious recipe that only takes one sheet and is great for using your harvest. While pasture sage can be added to dishes, it has been traditionally used for medicinal purposes such as a tea to reduce fever, a rinse for sore throats, or simply to sniff at for headache relief. Other practical uses include rubbing it directly on your skin to repel insects, which might be a handy bit of knowledge when you're out on a hike. And after that hike, you might add the leaves to your hot bath or infuse them into an oil to relieve muscle tension. With its broader woolly leaves, the prairie sage is a great option for flavoring your meats, soups, and stews. Fun fact, chewing on sage leaves is thought to bring luck, and is sometimes called bingo medicine. Either way, you end up with fresher breath. But if you win, you can buy me lunch, right? Both plants have a really pleasant aroma. They tend to grow in similar spaces, and they both have this silvery hue, which makes them easy to spot and may explain part of their name, as their scientific name starts with Artemisia, and the Greek goddess of the moon was Artemis. Personally, I think their moon-kissed coloring adds a little extra charm. Okay, but what about all this stuff I hear about sage being over-harvested? This challenge is being faced by a different wild sage that is native to the southwestern United States and northwestern Mexico. Commonly known as white sage, it is in the Salvia genus, along with the common sage that you might grow in your garden or on your windowsill. But our Artemisia sages are both considered to be on the aggressive and plentiful side, so harvesting what you need should not be a problem. However, these plants are also used for ceremonial purposes by Indigenous peoples, so you may choose to do so with a little extra respect. A forager may choose to give a gift in return for the harvest, such as tobacco, some hair, a song, or a bit of water. If that doesn't resonate with you, an alternative is to do a simple breathing exercise, noting the exchange between you. The plants give you oxygen and you return carbon dioxide. Make it a mindful moment. Most of us need a little time out anyways. Fun fact, smudging is a ritual practice, but it's based in science too. Artemisia sages are both antimicrobial and antibacterial. Now for the best part, a delicious one-sheet meal. Minimal dishes and it's very adaptable. Gather up your handy veggies and let's get started. As mentioned, this is a very adaptable recipe, but the ingredient list looks something like this. Root vegetables, such as potatoes, carrots, radishes, beets, and these would be washed and cut into wedges. Non-root vegetables, such as broccoli, cauliflower, green beans, or peppers. 1.5 tablespoons of oil. 1 tablespoon of fresh sage, chopped, either wild or garden grown. Salt and pepper. 5 cloves of garlic, chopped, and 1 to 4 small protein pieces. We know that chicken breasts and rabbit work well, but if you want us to experiment with fish or plant proteins in the future, let us know in the comments below. Roast for 15 minutes. Flip root vegetables, add non-root veggies and garlic and stir together. Roast for 15 to 20 minutes more until your protein is cooked through. Checking with the thermometer is the best if you have one. And you want your veggies to be soft. Let rest for 5 minutes, serve, and enjoy. If you give the recipe a try and post your delicious results, please tag it with #dwdOneSheet. We would love to see your creation.